I should really go do this editing of a thing and then eat a video. I mean, I have to eat. I have to edit a video and eat a food. Yeah. But I did expect, some explosions and some shooting of a gun into the air and a car chase. Because I wanted those thousands of dollars to be put to good use with some Bay-O-Vision. Why isn't there a swearing bad boys, couple of bad boys? Where are the bad boys? Where are the big-budget bad boys in that video? They're missing.
Really? Yeah. So you're expecting big budget bad boys. You want some Will Smith and Martin Lawrence all up in.
Yeah, I want some shooting into the air and screaming, and I want a car to explode, and I want the chief to get very upset because these bad boys are simply they can't be contained, and he's frustrated about it.
Yeah. Hello, Jonathan.
Hi. How are you?
Hello.
Sorry, I was a little late.
That's all right. That's all right. I was running late myself. Been a bit of a week, but there you go. Yeah. Get Kickstarter money. You are duty bound, I think, to get Martin Lawrence on board. and basically do an unofficial Bad Boys sequel.
And boy, Martin Lawrence is exactly the guy I would want in my pro-feminism videos. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, well, yes. Make an interesting contrast. I didn't get to watch the whole
Sure,
video.
why not? He seems like a decent enough guy, but...
Yeah, he's just paste. He's just water and white bread with toast. Yeah. He's flavorless. He's fine.
We're talking about tropes versus women in video games. If you've just joined us, welcome to Podtoid. Probably not going to linger too much on it, I don't think, because it won't lead to good places. These discussions about tropes versus women in video games never leads to good places, no matter how noble your intentions may be.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've watched it. I liked it. I actually liked it. There are a few things, and so I don't want to be like an asshole who nitpicks it. I hope she can do something about her blinking problem. The woman blinks 1 to 3 times every second.
Oh, I know people that do that.
And I mean, it's not like it's such a stupid thing, and that's why I'm not really bitching about it. But it's unfortunate. It unfortunately distracted me from the entire thing, and so now I'm gonna have to watch it 4 or 5 times. And maybe that was secretly her plan to drive up views. That could be. If so, it's working. But I liked the things she had to say. I didn't think she was particularly unfair. She wasn't snotty, and I don't think she's giving fuel to the people that hate her with it.
I haven't seen it yet. I didn't. Well, I mean, I have not had a computer for the past few days. I only got
now
one
that is weird.
Up and running today.
What happened to computer?
I don't know, but we'll get to that. I'll talk about that. That's been a whole thing.
I bet.
But if she's blinking, might be nerves. She needs to get a pair of aviator sunglasses, I think, and put those on. She might also be worried about not having enough camera presence. Pack on a few pounds. Doritos, Mountain Dew, pizza, Red Baron's oven pizzas, very nice. Get a couple of them down you a night. Start wearing a red tie, black sports coat, and then upgrade to a trench coat later so that people can call you Trench Bloat on the internet for fun.
That doesn't sound fun.
Adopt an English accent. Start acting like you're in fucking V for Vendetta. And say thank God for me at the end of your videos. And that's how you'll be a success in feminism.
Like you are?
Yes.
You're a success in feminism, kinda.
I'm an amazing anomaly. I think I'm the only person who routinely gets called a misogynist and a feminazi on the same day every day. Or vagina warrior, or woman-hating fat bastard.
Wow. Yeah.
Alternates between the two, because I'm that hard to pinpoint. I am like a shifty ninja of women's rights.
I'm always so surprised that anyone doesn't like you, because I only hear about people who love you, which is great to hear about. But I never see that side of it. I think a lot of people probably don't.
You should follow my Twitter more closely. I retweet them every 5 minutes.
Yeah, I followed pretty closely, but I
Out
follow.
of sheer insecurity.
I do follow kind of a lot of people. 800, I think. So
Bloody
it's
hell.
hard for me.
That's too
Yeah,
many. Get rid of them all. Just
yeah.
follow
I've never
me.
unfollowed anybody. I guess
I'm the
I
only
should.
one you need to follow. I do all the news. Jimmy Savile's a pedo. I'll tweet that. If you want, I'll do that. I think everyone on Twitter should unfollow everyone except me.
You know who's pretty good on Twitter? Is Stacy Nightmare.
Who's that?
She is the best. She's you just gotta follow her. Stacy Nightmare. I'm pretty sure it's this painter named Marlo Meekins. I think it's her alter ego. She does Vine videos a lot about her genitalia, and she has lobster claws, and she will get you. She will get you good. Check it out, Stacy Nightmare. It's pretty good.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's your
So what else?
recommendation.
Oh yeah, anytime. I recommended Florida Man not that long ago, and then he blew up after that. I heard about him on the radio.
Yeah, you are the kingmaker, Jonathan. We will be hearing about Stacey Nightmare next time.
I hope so. She is pretty neat.
You point where society's headed, and then you say go there, and society goes there.
You know, I really used to think that once. I was like, Morrissey came out with a song about boxing, and I had, like, weeks before said, there should be more songs about boxers. I mean, come on. And then there was. I'm like, see? Morrissey heard me. I know what I'm doing, guys. Listen to this guy here, okay? And, of course...
So you thought Morrissey was just, like his ears just pricked up and said, oh, there's a Jonathan Holmes intro.
I thought there was kind of a collective subconscious that I was better at than everyone else. Hence Morrissey's song about a boxer at that time. And here I am, 36 years old, not a total failure, right? I mean, I could have done worse.
Perfect emphasis on the word total. Really.
I am not a star of stage and screen, nor am I a darling whom everyone just can't get enough of. But I could have done worse, I guess.
Some people can't get enough of you.
Some, two, one,
Me.
you.
Me. Your good friend. Your old pal.
True.
Your old Meshuggah.
Yeah. Is
Jim.
that a good thing?
Jim Sterling. I know how it feels, because I know I annoy you. Sometimes.
You annoy me?
Well, I'm sure it's odd for you that I will often... I mean, I once opened 10 tabs in my browser of just your Twitter account. 10 of them all open at once. Just in case one of them updates quicker. So then I'll get information about you faster.
I didn't know that. I don't get annoyed. Sure, we're friends. Friends get annoyed. I've been annoyed with you probably like 3 times in the years we've known each other. Maybe 3. Maybe 4. Pretty sure it was just 3.
Numbers
so
just
barely
escalate.
at all. I mean, out of all the thousands of times we've talked, seems like thousands. 3 annoyances out of that isn't too bad. I don't think.
I guess not. Well, that's okay, because I am being annoyed. Not by you, but by another friend of mine.
Yeah?
Who won't leave me the fuck alone.
Weird. What are they doing?
Right? Trent fucking Reznor.
God damn it, not again.
Texting me all the week. My computer's broken. Or has been broken the past few days. That's not stopped him texting me Tumblr links. Constant, like, he's never done that before. He just started when I shipped the computer back. So, he's taken the piss, Jonathan.
He's taken the piss? What does that mean?
Mate,
He's
having
taken
a laugh.
your piss, like in a jar? Oh, okay.
Having a bubbly bath at my expense. At my tuppenny halfpence.
I thought he burglarized your toilet.
No, he did not burglarize my toilet. He's been sending me dodgy texts again. The other one, just today, apropos of nothing, when you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die, LOL. Jonathan, it's not been on for ages.
The Game of Thrones?
Yeah, it's not been on for ages, and he hasn't read the books. He's a poser.
He just likes the show.
He likes the show. I don't even know if he should have seen the show.
Oh, he's the next level of just wanting to talk about it?
I text him back, what's your favourite character? Nothing. Just sends me Game of Thrones, you win or you die, LOL, because he thinks it's so funny to just quote things. And nothing.
What did he tweet to you last week? Something about the barbecue?
Carve me off a hunk of that BBQ. Presumptuous. I'm sure there'll be another text from Trent next week. But I think, Jonathan, he's taken the piss. Jonathan.
I've never heard that expression before.
It's a British phrase to mean to
I can't believe you've never heard that before.
Make fun of.
I know. I'm unlucky in that way.
Run lucky. I don't know what that was.
Run lucky?
I said you're unlucky.
Oh, I thought you were telling me to run.
I was going to start singing it.
Funny.
I was going to start singing "You're Unlucky in Love" to the tune of "The Power of Love," and then I realised that "The Power of Love's" lyrics are not "You're Unlucky in Love," so I just cut it short. You're lucky, you're lucky.
Well, not to edit you and criticize you in the process of editing, but if you were to yell "Run, Lucky!" at a guy, he's not lucky because you're chasing him. So there's irony. And irony is comedy. If you're chasing a man, telling him to run, and he's scared, he'd be scared of you, because who knows what you'll do. You might poop on him. You've talked about pooping on me. You might poop on Lucky.
There's precedent. Lucky, better watch out. If you're listening, Lucky, I might do a poop on you. God damn it. Hello, anyway, welcome to Podtoid, ladies and gentlemen. Bit out of sorts. It's been a bit of a... I've not been working this week, so I'm not really in a working mood. I'm not in a work mode.
Is that
I've
a
been
vacation?
A most forced vacation, which, in my boring life, means sitting around watching Netflix in between wanks.
Sounds like a vacation, all right. Doesn't sound too bad at all.
That's been my past few days. Just wanking and watching House of Cards, not at the same time.
Has it felt weird? Like you have a lack of purpose? Like you have... Because you're doing stuff all the time. You have this show, you have your other show, you contribute to other Destructoid videos, you're reviewing stuff all the time, you're writing news, you're doing editorials. So I can imagine there'd be a huge void of your kind of structure and sense of satisfaction with life without anything to do but watch.
Yes, Jim really does know how to fill a void.
Yeah, there's a lot of negative space. And I like to cram it with as much material as possible. Jonathan,
you mean like felt and
he just
yarn?
packs it in.
Yarn into his...
Deep and firm and tight. And just totally occupies the entire space.
I think we're talking about yarn, but you guys seem to like talking about it too much.
Oh, Jonathan, I can't get enough of your yarn. Can't get enough of your sexy yarn, you yarn bitch. Anyway, computer, you're right. Aimlessly wandering through life the past few days. It's been horrible. I hated it. I don't like not working. Been catching up on emails. I've been so bored, I've actually been doing my job as a reviews editor. Actually been communicating, and I've been contactable, because usually when I'm working, I'm very hard to reach me. Unless you're Hamza or Conrad, in which case I get your name flash up on the tab and think, fuck, I better really look important. If it's anyone else, tough luck. But no, it's been difficult and annoying, and I've been a lot more hands-on with some emails than I normally am.
Still didn't get back to my email. Wah. Say you like me, but send you emails and nothing happens. Just gotta wait for the email to get back. It's all right. Don't worry about it. It's about a video game. It's gonna be all right. Someone's gonna review it, I think.
Yeah. So anyway, like I said, I'm a bit distracted because I'm still playing catch up.
That was supposed to make you feel guilty, Jim.
I was
for not responding to my emails, and you just said, "Yeah." So anyhow,
yeah. Well, I literally wasn't listening to anything you said, and I don't mean that rudely. I got distracted by things that I'm catching up with. It's been bad. I'm going to make up for how reachable I've been the past couple of days by now being, even on my own podcast, completely inscrutable.
That's okay.
It's terrible,
I think
John.
I know. I was trying to figure out what inscrutable means. What does that mean again?
Oh, fuck it.
Is that some sort of English word?
Yeah.
It's like insatiable?
No. But
There was
I
a
am that
porno
as well.
movie. Oh, yeah. Have you seen that porno movie with the Ivory Snow lady?
No.
We should talk about this. I'm going to look her up real quick. She told me to keep this a secret forever. Someone who I spent a lot of quality time with once said her
Wait,
best...
hang on. I just want to go back to the part where you're totally betraying someone's trust. And let's just... Okay, move on.
Yeah.
I'm not betraying because I didn't say who they were.
But
she said never...
But you still said you'd never tell anyone this story, and now you're doing it.
She said, as long as you don't identify who I am.
So long as he doesn't mention
I think you're just changing the rules, making it up, playing it fast and loose, but whatever.
It'll
be all right, Conrad. So long as he doesn't...
I am betraying no one's trust.
As long as he doesn't mention Debbie's name, it'll be all right.
If I said how I knew this person, then you'd be able to figure it out. But I don't think you'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah, you realize I just now want to know what the person's name
is. I know.
Like, really, really bad. Like stooping to blackmail levels of bad is how bad I want to know.
Should I stop talking about it in total? Or?
That's going to make it even worse. The more mystery you add on this, the worse it's going to get.
You might as well just charge ahead.
Yeah.
For God's sake, don't let us stop you, whatever you do.
You might as well give me her social security number right now. Anything beyond that level of openness on this is just going to make me more curious.
It's weird. She got mad at me once for revealing it to someone, but I think it was just symbolic. Like because it's not that big of a deal, but she told me never to tell anyone, and I did tell someone, and then she was very upset, and then I apologized, so I'd never do it again.
I'm Jonathan Holmes, and I am trustworthy. That's my impression of you right now.
Yeah, I am so trustworthy because I'm not going to tell you who she is.
But
yes,
but you will reveal large incriminating details about someone based on your assumption that it's probably okay.
No, it is okay. She said you can tell people this exists. Just don't tell them it was me.
All right, come on.
Here we go. Her mom created the commercial, "I've fallen and I can't get up." You know that one?
Yeah.
The medic alert.
Mm-hmm. Her mom created that commercial. It was not meant to be funny. It was supposed to be like, I don't know, we got to gauge the tone on this. We don't want it to be too disheartening and distressing, or people will just change the channel. But we want it to be attention grabbing, so people will care and get our product. And she came up with, "I've fallen and I can't get up," which then everyone laughed about forever, which is sad. And her mom was embarrassed. Her mom was friends with Marilyn Chambers, who did a ad for Ivory Snow, which is a brand of boxed, powdered, not laundry detergent. Yeah, no, laundry detergent. Sometimes I mix up dishwashing and laundry detergent. And then right after she did that, the pure as the driven snow, Ivory Snow, she made pornos. And Marilyn Chambers was in a porno called Insatiable 2, which we watched because our friend's mom, who made the I Fall and I Can't Get Up commercials, was friends with Marilyn Chambers. And it's a pretty good porno, Jim. You should watch it.
That story would have been better if it had ended with the woman who played the I've fallen and I can't get up lady was in the porno with Marilyn Chambers.
She might have been. Or she wouldn't have told me that. I'm sure. There's some secret she keeps. But yeah, and then Marilyn Chambers was in a good David Cronenberg movie called Rabid, about a woman who grows a very small penis-like object out of her arm and eats people. It's pretty good. Check it out, guys. Rabid. And Insatiable. It's got a theme song that I remember to this day. It's kind of about you, Jim Sterling. It goes, "A lovable animal You know she's insatiable. She's gotta have it, baby, baby. Well, she's just having sex with all those guys on the pool table.
Good for her.
A lovable animal. That's a pretty good lyric.
Yeah.
They don't make pornos with theme songs and lyrics anymore. They used to. Deep
They
Throat.
barely
is
make
another
them with
one.
plots anymore.
It's sad. You guys seen Deep Throat?
Yeah, many times. I love Deep Throat.
Yeah.
That's a
You remember the
classic.
theme
Gerard
song? Can you sing it for
Damiano.
us, Conrad?
God, let me see if I can remember how that goes.
I'm going to give you 10 seconds.
Yeah, no, you better go ahead because I can't.
sure?
If you remember it, you should sing it because I'm.
Oh, yeah.
spacing
I
out.
think about it all the time. I've only seen the movie like once or twice, but the theme song stays with you. It goes, Deep throat, deeper than deep your throat. Deep throat, don't get your goat or get on a boat. That's all she wrote. Deep throat.
There's
That's
actually
all
a
she wrote.
brilliant documentary on that movie.
Oh yeah.
Inside Deep Throat, and it's on Netflix like all the time. And it's a really, really good film. But it's incredibly depressing what happened to everybody associated with that project.
Yeah, the star of it said that she was coerced into the whole thing, and then sued the guys that made it, and then the guys who made it were gross, and then bad things happened to everybody, right?
Well, pretty much, yeah. I mean, the male actor who, really just showed up to work.
Harry Reeves.
Harry Reeves, he wound up being the only guy who wound up charged with anything when all of this
Oh, really?
it went down. Yeah. And and then Gerard Damiano, he had all these dreams that this was going to be an opportunity to legitimize pornography, in a sense that these were adult feature films that had stories and characters, and he wanted it to be like Hollywood. He wanted Hollywood pictures to have hardcore sex in them.
He was the David Cage of
He really
porno.
was. He really was. And just, it all fell apart for everyone. It's so sad. It's so sad. Except Linda Lovelace, who, and it did fall apart for her too, but like she did Deep Throat and she rode high on the success, and then she wound up falling in with Gloria Steinem and Andrea Dworkin and said, well, no, now I was coerced into this, and whether or not that was true, who knows? But she starts doing these Senate committee hearings, is appearing on talk shows, and then, fades into obscurity again, and winds up finally accepting a leg modeling gig for in a leg fetish magazine later in life, and then died in a car accident.
Aw, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Man, you are truly an expert on all things Deep Throat.
I'm much more interested in the industry and people surrounding pornography than I am the product it produces. I just think it's kind of fascinating the way that business operates and our just desire for it and how it pushes technology forward. And man, can you imagine how insecure the internet would be without porno?
Yeah, I wonder if there'd be much of an internet. I wonder if people would have bothered with it. It's hard to say. Probably. It is pretty good, internet.
Yeah.
Jim, how are you? Are you catching up in the background?
I've been listening. Fascinating. Fascinating
fun.
story.
Yeah, some said.
Oh, and Inside Deep Throat, it's narrated by Dennis Hopper. So there you go. Now you have to watch it.
Yeah, that seals the deal.
Yeah.
Good too.
That's the winner right there.
Very good. Anyway, sorry. So what happened with your computer anyway? You've never told us.
Oh, right. I'll tell you the story. I was talking to NVIDIA, as long-time Destructoid readers should know. NVIDIA helped out some of the Destructoid reviewers by hooking them up with some graphics cards and stuff, simple stuff like that. They got, I think it was Falcon Northwest, built some computers with, I think there were 580s at the time, graphics cards in them, to help us do our job. And obviously, since we post the rigs that we use in our reviews, obviously they get a little bit of a mention there. So it's a kind of mutually beneficial thing. So that's cool. But we were chatting about upgrading the graphics cards, because obviously ones have come out since then. So we were talking about that. It's been talking about that for ages, but nothing ever came to it. Always came to them saying, okay, let's get this sorted out, and then it never getting sorted out. But I contacted NVIDIA more recently and was like, let's nail down the graphics card situation. And he spoke to me and said, well, actually, we got these things coming out very soon, the Titan, which I mentioned in a Crysis 3 sort of comparison thing. He said, I can build you, and get sent over to you this rig with 3 Titans in them, 3 Titans in SLI. Now, they're like $900 a card. So it was a massive, expensive thing. And they sent that over for me to test, which was very fortunate at the time, because the older computer had died. So that was fucked. So I was that came at a time when I was like, while I get the other one, like the actual work computer fixed up, I can do everything on this too. So, turned up, didn't quite work that way because it blue screened within an hour of me turning it on. So the computer, the new one that the Origin PC had built, blue screened and had died, and then it wouldn't turn back on again. So that was a whole thing. It would be every hour, like almost on the hour, every hour it would blue screen. And then it would be very random as to whether it would turn on and off again. So this became a whole thing. I spent days on the phone with Origin trying to troubleshoot, open the thing up, tinker around inside, press on cards, pull things out. Eventually, we solved the blue screening by disconnecting one of the drives. And that seemed to fix that. But the Windows thing was getting worse. I'd turn it on and it wouldn't boot up Windows. And I tried everything, troubleshooting with these guys. NVIDIA, by that point, was getting a bit worried because Crysis was coming up and the Titan was almost out, and I'd lost all of my lead time for reviewing anything. So they sent over their personal demo unit, which they send out to things like PAX and E3 and everything. So they sent their own computer over and overnighted that. So I then had 2 massively expensive computers in my office. They're about the size of like 5 babies duct taped together. So my office has just been boxes and rigs everywhere. Awful. It would make very strong robbers very happy.
Are you using one of those computers now?
No. Because what happened was the blue screen problem had been fixed. I didn't know the Windows problem hadn't, so I thought, well, that's okay. NVIDIA needed their rig back because PAX East's coming up, so I boxed that one back up and shipped it back. So that's one gone. Hassle that was, reboxing that. Then the Windows stuff started happening. The computer was not turning on at random intervals every time I turned it down. At the same time, one of the fans was going like really sounding like it would snap and fly out the computer and get me in the neck or something. That was what I was imagining would definitely happen. So at that point, I contact Origin. I say, get rid of the computer now. We tried fixing all sorts of things. I was losing, by this point, 3 weeks had passed, and I was constantly late with things, unable to do certain bits of work. The thing was crashing, failing on me. So I was like, take it back, do what you want with it, fix it, refurb it, and they were talking about taking it back, fixing it up, and shipping it back to me. So I box that up. I wait for them to send another gigantic wooden crate, because I got rid of the last one because there was literally no room for any more storage. So another wooden crate turned up. I lurked that thing in, nailed the box shut. Manual labour, Jonathan. Manual labour, me. Waited for FedEx to turn up. Gave them the box, sent it off. Next day, get an email from Origin. Nothing's wrong with the computer. We turned it on and off 50 times and it was fine. At this point, I'm thinking the computer is Chucky. It's given up on dolls, joined the 21st century, and is now going into high-end computers. Consequently, fucking up just for me, and then when anyone else is looking, pretending to run just fine. Either that or the power supply. One of the two. Probably the power supply. But can't rule out Brad Dourif's ghost just floating around in there, just going, "Ah, you bitch! Get out of my way!" That's him doing the worm tongue voice. So, that's where we are. They've still got it, and they were like, "Do you still need this because we've got PAX East coming up?" And I was like, forget it. And ended up getting inside the old computer that was broken and fixing it. It turned out, because I was talking with Falcon, with their tech support, and they troubleshooted it and were able to fix what was wrong with that one. So I'm back at square one now, having lost a month. And really wish it had stayed that way.
That's awful.
It's
and
annoying.
it was all when it's work. I mean, geez. Yeah, I was hoping all this time you would say that it was all part of your master plan or something, but that was a true malicious circumstance. They really screwed you without meaning to. But
Yeah.
they screwed you.
No one intended to. But it's been a thing. It's been a stressful month. It's been annoying. To be honest, a few days off probably came at a good time. I wouldn't have taken them myself. So to have it involuntarily forced on me was probably for the best. Just to give me a few days to unwind and whatever.
I had the same thing on Monday. Over the weekend, my body was trying to tell me, hey, you should not sit at your computer for, I don't know, a good 4-hour stretch at a time. That might be healthy. It was to the point where I just literally couldn't do it. I was in back pain. I went and got a massage and let a woman beat me up for like an hour and came back all bruised. And then for the next 2 days, continued to wallow in my own pain and misery before I could get up off of my couch. It was horrible.
Oh, yeah.
Getting old.
Yeah, we all are. I'm the
Old,
oldest.
malnourished.
Yeah, you seem like you're not fat. You're skinny.
Yeah.
You need more food?
No.
I can send you a box.
I'm good.
I've got some macaroni and cheese.
Hey, my mother?
Some lady. I could be.
I'll have the fucking box.
There you go. See?
It's
That's how
from
this works.
place. There's a place with macaroni and cheese that everyone wants. And they gave it all to me. But I'm going to be, I think, in a sexy man calendar. So I can't eat carbs. I got to lose weight. I got to lose fat. So I didn't eat it. Sad.
There's a place across the street from me that makes a macaroni and cheese with blue cheese and bits of bacon and cornbread blended into it.
Wow, I bet that's a popular place.
It's pretty amazing. It's like a smokehouse. So, you can go in and get like half a chicken that's been sitting smoking all day, and it's amazing.
Ugh, I am pretty hungry right now. We'll have to change the subject to video games. But Jim, do you know what happened in video games anymore? Did anyone tell you?
The only thing that matters is that SimCity is fucked, isn't it? That's what I picked up from Twitter. I was picking up all sorts of interesting dust-ups between people on Twitter and reviews and SimCity and breaking. Downloaded SimCity today. It was my first point of business. Not played it yet, not had the time, but sometime this weekend I will have a go at not being able to play it. I think that's the point of it.
My understanding is it's been recalled from Amazon because of the problems, but the game itself is fine. It's the servers that are busted.
Yeah,
Is that
but it's always online DRM. They call it a service. That's the line that people seem to swallow despite the lack of extra service. But that's what it is. They're always online DRM masquerading as games as service because it's so beneficial to not be able to play a game at launch. But it was kind of like the Diablo situation again. You had to be always online to play it, even if you're playing single player, so massive server strains. Ergo, unplayable. Can't access the server. Sorry, fuck off. We're keeping this money, though. This goes in my pocket. Haha, thank you. Now, fuck off. I don't think the error message reads exactly like that. I think it's a bit more plain. But apparently it's worse, though, than Diablo 3, because this is costing people progress. I think Daniel Starkey, one of our writers, said that like he's already lost 5 cities. Like,
Whoa,
just
really?
building the cities up, then the servers are like, fuck you, gone. And because your progress is saved to the cloud, not to your hard drive, you're relying on them to record your shit. And it's not doing it. And I think
did they know this ahead of time? I mean, I would just steer clear of any game that did all
Required
this stuff.
always on. Yes, that's the thing. And I mean, it's unfortunate that when I say this, it sounds like I'm defending the practice, because that's absolutely not the case. I think it's asinine. But it's not like it was a secret that this was going to happen.
Oh yeah, we all knew it.
Yeah, everybody knew it.
But
and so it's kind of like, well, yeah, that's what did you expect? Of course, that's what happened. I feel bad for anyone who isn't aware of that, but I don't think that's the same people who are, online complaining about it and arguing about it, and then ran out and bought it anyway, and then so they could complain and argue about it. That's my only issue with it, is that I have to question.
Yeah.
Didn't you have this expectation? I mean, the people who are on the support forums bitching about it, I'm sure that there's a ton of them who had no idea that this could happen. That are just old school SimCity fans who are like, oh man, new SimCity, I'm excited for that, and bought it not realizing the implications, and I do feel for them. But the rest of us knew better.
Yeah, I mean, I find it hard to disagree with you. Find it absolutely hard to disagree with you.
And they're not going to learn until we stop buying them.
This is true. This is true.
And we only have to stop buying them for the first week, I think, is the most important thing. If we just wait a week, A, those launch servers aren't nearly going to be as encumbered, and B, that'll send the message, because week 1 sales are what they care about.
Well, I think it's going to happen eventually. I have enough faith in the market to acknowledge, definitely, that customers will and do take a lot of shit. They happily take a lot of abuse, up to a point, and then suddenly their support goes. I think EA knows that too, because I see a lot of behaviour in the industry that reeks of fear more than anything else, more than contempt, as it's often framed. And I frame it myself often as contempt, but it's looking more and more just like fear. And I do think one day that fear is going to be totally justified, but it's just waiting until that happens. I do find it difficult to disagree with you on that point, although I also, I don't know, I really do not want EA or EA Maxis to be in any way, even indirectly, even accidentally justified. Because when someone says we all saw it coming, my mind instantly goes to, so did EA.
Yep.
So did the company that willingly made the decision to put consumer enjoyment a distant second to their own need for control.
You're absolutely right. And put their feet to the fire and yell and scream, but for God's sake, don't give them your money.
Well, I would absolutely say so, yes. Do not, because at the end of the day, they're knowingly selling you a broken game. Like, there's no excuse for that. They can't just say, oh, well, it works when it works. No. If you put it out at launch and you know this is going to happen like we all did, you are knowingly selling a broken product, a defunct product.
Even if, just maybe there just needs to be a warning on the box now that says, online capability may vary, particularly in first weeks. Or I don't know. They all say online features may vary on them to cover their asses.
But if the online features,
I think there should be more than that.
Play it all. Yeah, it should say you might not be able to play this at all.
We plaster half a cigarette box with a Surgeon General's warning. There should be one, just half the box, half the front cover should just be the Sterling General's warning. I'll write it. That'll just say, these publishers are happily selling you a game that they know won't work until an undisclosed and unknown time. Be very careful with your money. Brackets. I heard GOG.com's got some good stuff on offer. Close brackets. And that's the Sterling General's warning. I will go on the front of SimCity, or really any Ubisoft or EA game, forever. Either that or just a big picture of a dick. But, yeah, I mean, it really... Well,
it is infuriating, particularly for a game which shows promise. It's something that you get excited about. And that I'm not normally the sort of person who would give a shit, but SimCity is a kind of beloved franchise. And, I don't particularly like what they've done with the game either. I'm not really into it. I think the city size is too small, and I don't know, maybe city building for me just needs to be an isolated experience.
Well, it's one of those games that seems built in my mind for solo play. I realise I seem to be an increasing minority in my opinion, but when it comes to sim games, horror games, and open-world RPGs, I play them distinctly for a feeling of seclusion and loneliness. Like, that's my sensory deprivation tank stuff. I get enough social interaction elsewhere, in real life. So I play those games specifically to be alone, but obviously more and more social stuff's coming in. And I'm a realist enough. I understand why. That's really the only place they've got left to expand into, the video game industry. Graphics are reaching a ceiling and waiting for some massive new leap. So I see why they're doing it, but it doesn't make it any more enjoyable.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like there's a lot more backlash against online everything and socially connected everything. Conrad even did a video about it, didn't you? Conrad.
Well, we all did. We were all on it.
You put it together. You asked the question. You assembled the answers.
Jim's question.
You asked it to them.
Don't put this on me.
You did good.
It was a good video.
It was a very good video. And so many of the responses were just it's just very different than 5 years ago.
I was surprised by how little defense there was. There were people who say, no, I really like those things, and bully to them. I think that's great. I'm glad you like it. But I was kind of shocked at how comparatively little there was. The people were just like, nope, get it out. Don't want it. Don't care.
Oh, really?
Wild.
I'm a centrist at heart. I'm not a fan of extremes, as this podcast doesn't demonstrate. But in general, in life, I'm a very take each thing as it comes kind of guy.
Everything in moderation, especially moderation.
Yeah, except food. Obviously.
I was just thinking that I'm so hungry right now, guys. I ate an orange earlier. That's it.
You get nothing. You get nothing until we're done.
I know.
But politically and socially and in terms of video games, I'm very much a moderate. And that's my stance on social networking in games. That's my stance on online stuff. It's fine for some games, not for others. I think that's a fair enough assessment.
Sure.
What pisses me off is when we get someone like Sevet Yerli at Crytek saying the notion of the single-player game has to die, has to go. We've got to do away with it. Or who was it? Phil Harrison when he was at Atari. It's like, oh, single-player games are going to die. They should die. We should kill them. They should die. They should die. Constantly, this industry. I don't know of many other industries that so gleefully salivate at the thought of killing things. And not just in video games, but
I mean, eliminating entire market segments.
Yeah, just happily. Whether it's a mobile developer, like, licking his lips and saying console games are dying, or people saying PC games dying, or people saying Everything's dying. Real-time strategy games are dead. First-person shooters need to die. 2D games are gonna die. 3D's the future. Just all this fucking stuff. Just the extremity. And I... Why? There's no
Because
benefit.
hyperbole's really entertaining.
There's no benefit to putting online components in every game so everything's the same, it's no longer special, and stuff struggles to sell. Demon's Souls and Dark Souls did what Crytek proposes, this idea of an online single-player game with social interactions. And they are fucking brilliant. They are brilliant. Demon's Souls, Dark Souls, brilliant games. I wrote an article on Destructoid saying that Demon's Souls is the best multiplayer game I've played in a long time. And it is a wonderful multiplayer game, even though it's a solo experience, just because of the interactions, the indirect interactions you have with other players who are playing at the same time. Beautiful, elegant, wonderful. I don't want every fucking game to be that, because it will no longer be beautiful, elegant, and wonderful. It will just be par for the course. I don't want every single game to have every single feature and every single thing. That's how markets do die. And not just the one market you're saying needs to die, everything. There won't be a future if you're so keen on destroying your past.
Well, yeah, they want to be like... They want to predict that Morrissey is going to sing a song about boxing. And then be like, uh-huh.
They want to be like you.
What I said? Yeah, it's hard for them. They're trying. But you can't predict that. And they also just want the money, of course. When in arcades, when Gauntlet came out, and they could have 4 people spending money on something at once, and putting a new quarter in every few seconds because they got killed, boy, did that make arcade people happy. And I'm sure these guys, if they could make you put in a quarter every time you played a game online, and everyone has to be playing online in order to play it all, so you either have 4 people playing or...
Just because of its timer system.
Oh, yeah.
It was very
That's a
clear how little
machine.
time you were going to get to play.
Mm-hmm. But quarters give you more time and health.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gauntlet was a moneymaker, all right, but bad for people. I was just going to look up something else, too, that related to what Jim was saying. Aw, it was going to make Jim feel so good. Oh, I can't remember what it is.
I feel energized after that rant.
Yeah, that was quite a tear.
You can tell I've been offline for too long.
Yeah,
the
passion's great.
I'm ready to put a bit of stick about.
What does that one mean? Is that like taking a piss?
That's me watching too much House of Cards.
What is House of Cards?
It's a political thriller series. It was recently remade by Kevin Spacey and David Fincher produced it, and it starred Kevin Spacey, and just went all up on Netflix at once. An idea I love and hope does well, and was very critically acclaimed. But it's actually based on a British series from the 90s, which was all about a Conservative Minister of Parliament called Francis Urquhart, who is awesome, and I'm now modelling my life after him. And he often says things like, put a bit of stick about. So I will put a bit of stick about now, because I saw it on TV.
That sounds good. Sounds like a decent series.
It's a great series.
Heard so many stories about Kevin Spacey, though. It's hard for me to separate. You know how it is with Tom Cruise, too. You see him in a movie, and you think about all those things he's said and done. I have friends that work in the film industry, and Kevin Spacey does a lot of things to people on the set. Strange.
Are we heading into libel territory, into slander territory, rather?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay. Jonathan Holmes' opinions do not reflect those of Podtoid, myself, Conrad Zimmerman, or Destructoid as a whole. They're solely his opinions. What's Kevin Spacey been doing, Jonathan?
Well, he picks a favorite, and then he torments them affectionately a lot. I'm keeping it vague because I don't want to get sued by Kevin Spacey, and that favorite will get whatever they want on set, and it could just be what they call a production assistant, someone just carrying around a log and putting it down on House of Cards, being like, "Here's your log, Mr. Spacey," and something weird will happen to him. He will get something on him or something near him, but then if he says, "I want all the donuts," then he'll get all the donuts too. The special victim unit. Yeah, it's a special victim unit he picks.
And makes
So now I just think about that every time I
them
see him
carry
on a movie.
logs.
Well, if it called for in the scene, if the prop master says, "Log, please, for Mr. Stacy," which would be very embarrassing if he called Mr. Spacey Mr. Stacy.
Are you sure
then-
that you've not just been hearing stories about a man called Kevin Stacey who wanders around Boston clutching a log?
I'm not sure. It's all hearsay. I have not witnessed Kevin Stacey and or Spacey touching a log and or employee in an inappropriate way. I don't know. This is just what they tell me. But those stories get in your head like a brainworm, and you can't stop thinking about them when you're watching that movie about poker.
This
21 something.
See, I thought you were just describing like the plot of Swimming with Sharks for a while.
Oh, he was in that too, wasn't he?
Yeah, Spacey. Yeah. It's like the best bad boss movie ever.
I think it's kind of. Yeah, I think he's kind of like that. So I'm told.
Awesome. Awesome. If you haven't seen that film, you really, really should. It's definitely one of those. It's a film you could tell that Spacey wanted to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun.
I
Mark
could see that.
Whalen, I think. The other guy's name.
The actor or the maker?
Yeah, the actor. The actor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
About a producer's assistant. He's like a power broker in Hollywood. Apparently everyone who's assistant goes on to do some ridiculously awesome job. Benicio del Toro's in it briefly as the guy's former assistant. And he's going on to be a VP of development at Paramount from this like office assistant position. It's cute.
Sounds good. Yeah,
And
sounds
violent.
all right.
Highly
I was
violent.
going to say.
A little
That was-
depraved.
But cute.
And really dark. Oh god, so dark. So dark and lovely.
What does that mean, dark? Like, feel bad?
No, like the character is forced to make some very, very questionable moral choices due to other questionable moral choices he has already made.
Dark is one of those very vague descriptors that's more about just how you felt, but it
Like,
doesn't always tell you
it's-
what happened in it.
Now, here, I'll tell you exactly what it means. It means that the whole movie is told in flashback, and it's this guy sort of recounting all the terrible accounts with his boss, while he has his boss tied up in his home at gunpoint, and is like giving him paper cuts and pouring lemon juice all over them.
Why is he doing that to the boss?
Because this boss is an asshole, and you spend the first like 75 minutes of the film finding out exactly why he's done this.
So it's a bad person is bad, and then you get him later movie? Kind of?
Sure.
Those are good sometimes.
Sure. Yes, there's a comeuppance for sure. Yes.
Oh, yeah. I like 9 to
Still a lot of
5.
comeuppance.
I like 9 to
Sure.
5.
Yeah,
I wanna
yeah,
watch 9 to
exactly.
5.
It's exactly like 9 to 5.
I really like 9 to 5. Have you guys seen that movie?
It's Dolly Parton, isn't it?
Dolly Parton, Lily Tomlin, Jane Fonda, and then that guy with the mustache who I always want to call Dabney Coleman, but I don't know if that's really Dabney. Jim, have you seen 9 to 5?
I don't watch films with Dolly Parton in
What? Why not?
because she's a racist.
She's delightful.
She's racist? Who's she
Hates-
racist against?
Hates Chinese people.
No way.
Uh-huh.
Dolly doesn't like the Chinese?
The
Cannot
opinions of
stand
Jim
them.
Sterling
Very
do
hard.
not necessarily reflect those of
I'm gonna look this up. Yeah.
ScotlandDestructoid.com.
No kidding.
Whoa.
Dolly Parton,
I'm
Chinese.
joking.
Oh.
I know nothing of her life or work. I do that a lot. My family don't trust me anymore because
Go figure.
because I lie, but I don't tell like awful lies. Like I don't kill people and then pretend I don't. It's just little bullshit lies. The ones that are so stupid, no one would be that dumb to lie about them. Therefore, sound so believable. Like when I say that the song "Hey Mickey, you also find, you blow my mind, hey Mickey, Mickey" was written about Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, that's a good lie.
Like, it's so it's pathetic to lie like that.
It's so believable, though. You want to weave reality for others, and
I
that
really
is one
do
way to
want
do
to
it.
believe that someone would have something positive to say about Mickey Rourke's visual appearance at this point in his
You're so
career.
fine.
You so fine. Yeah, I'd like to think that
I
there's someone out
crafted
there.
a whole lie once about there being some like famous midget in Hollywood called Rory Bubbles, who they get to play like any small role. Invented a whole thing about Rory Bubbles. Terrible, man. I hate myself.
No, you're good. It's good. You're just, we're just there's research coming out. Physicists may have evidence that the universe is a computer simulation. This is true. On the Huffington Post, written by Michael Rundle. I'm reading it right now. I'm not reading it, but I'm seeing that it's a story. So it's all just a simulation, Jim. You're just altering the programming a little bit through reality crafting via truth imagining.
So this
That's
is
how you are. You're an Imagineer. That's all.
This is neo-Descartian philosophy. Is that what I'm hearing? Like, I mean,
That sounds smart again.
didn't
I don't know.
Descartes
Yes.
just basically do that? Except you've replaced the devil with a computing program. I mean,
Maybe. What did Descartes do? Tell me about Descartes.
wasn't it Descartes that believed that we didn't really have free will? We were all being controlled by an invisible Satan, basically.
Oh, is that what it was?
I thought wasn't that his philosophy? I'll have to double check.
No, you're probably right. You're probably right.
Yeah.
It's funny. That's gonna work into, if there's a season 2 of Teenage Pokemon, a lot of it's going to be about that very philosophy. Because
Is
those
it?
Pokemon, yeah, well, you think about the Pokemon's life. Almost all the actions that they take are based on a trainer just yelling it first, and then they have to do it. So some Pokemons not too happy about that. But once they discover it, Matrix style. Oh, I'm giving away too much of season 2 of Teenage Pokemon. I'm gonna bite my tongue. Sorry, just excited about that. We wrote a pretty good thing, Steven Hansen. Not me. I shouldn't say we. We posted it on Destructoid about video games being awful. That was pretty cool. Did you guys read that?
I've been unable to, but was that
good.
the one involving Tomb Raider? I remember discussion coming up.
It's called You Should Feel Bad, but Games Don't Want You To. And it is about how video games work to make the player feel nothing about doing terrible things to other people. And how Tomb Raider builds up, and you would be able to speak this, Jim, as part of why I'm bringing it up. They try to make those villains seem so bad in the beginning, so later you can just do whatever you want to them, and it's totally okay. Is that right?
Well,
Yeah,
they
it's a weird
certainly
thing.
make you angry at them, and therefore your retribution, your bloody retribution, is more, I guess, triumphant.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. One thing I've always found interesting, actually, I remember this as, let's say, I think I first noticed it in Black, and I've been unable to not see it in almost every other game, is how all shooters, well, I say all, many shooters, always put balaclavas or face masks on the enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Just this steady dehumanization. I don't think it was always that way. I guess as graphics got more realistic, they started masking guys more, so that it's less brutal, I guess, when you shoot them. But it also is kind of creepy in how they're dehumanizing video game enemies in that way.
Sure, they want them to sell, and there's a very fine line that I think developers are still figuring out where exactly it is. I think they're afraid of where it is and that they're going to step on it or step over it. The line between making a game that's edgy and cool and fun and a game that just makes you feel like you're a terrible person for having played it. Probably Rockstar walks that line the most.
Well, Spec Ops
closely.
The Line tried it.
Well, they went over it intentionally, right? They wanted you to feel bad about.
Yeah, but it came off a bit I love Spec Ops. I think it's got a great story, but at times they try to hit you with it a bit too hard. And people have pointed out the game essentially says, do this, do this, do this. Oh, why did you do that, you prick?
Which is pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to do it in video games, I guess, but I'm happy they're trying, and I hope they keep trying, and I hope we find ways to be more elegant about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's worth a shot. That's exciting. Well, should I do those questions? We're an hour in.
Yeah, we should. Like I said, it's been a bit of a laid-back Podtoid, but be happy
Sure.
you're fucking getting one, listeners.
I have things to worry about, of course. And I'm sure you all do, too. What are you worried about, Jim?
First
Anything?
thing people say,
Yeah.
my computer's fucked up. I'm pretty pissed off about it. First reply, when's Podtoid coming? Is there no Podtoid this week? I said this morning, because it was just always... I was talking about Jimquisition at one point, saying, I've just written the script, hopefully I can get it up on Monday. When's Podtoid coming? I said earlier, I could be in a car accident. Terrible car accident. Crippled. Become a wheelchair bound. Almost dead. In critical condition. And before they've even plugged in the life support, people sending get well soon cards that just have when's Podtoid going up written in them.
It's a weird show, isn't it? I mean, there's a lot of shows that people like a little, like a lot of people like it a little, or a few people like a lot. But this is a show where a fair amount of people need it. They tell me, I need it. I don't know what I'm going to do. I need it. Where is it? I need it. I'm going to listen to it twice because I need it. I'm like, I'll get it to you. They were asking for us to just have it be me and Conrad this week if we had to. That's how bad they needed it. And they're getting it. Thanks to you, Jim.
That would have been awful.
It wouldn't have been awful. But
It would have been awful.
It would have been
Awful.
You talking and me eventually being really annoying. And then
You'd
you being polite about it, but trying to
In
tell me.
fairness, you'd have gotten things done.
We probably
Yeah.
would have talked about video games.
And it probably
That's
wouldn't
true.
have been. It probably would have lasted half an hour because there's no messing about.
Yeah,
You'd have had
yeah,
a tight, well done show.
Well, we talked a lot about video games on this podcast, which is
That's just I'm really
surprising.
tired.
Yeah, it's
Just worn out.
I can't be fucked.
I
so-
was inspired for a Willem Dafoe movie pitch, but I'm not quite done fleshing it out. So it's next week.
That's exciting.
There's another difference between you and me. You're not done fleshing it out. I'd have had a title and then just started running my mouth.
It's pretty great when you do that, though.
That's why
If
people.
you have the title, I could tell you the title.
Oh, dude.
Sure, let's hear it.
Willem Dafoe is the fast food psycho.
Promising. Look forward to that next week, hopefully.
Yeah, should be.
Yeah,
Well, we'll be
already-
back on full form next week.
Oh, yeah.
I've actually got an idea for you, Jonathan.
You do.
Yeah, I look forward to you hearing me out on it, but that's next week because I'm tired now and don't have the energy to go full on with my brilliant idea. But get a Woody from Toy Story costume ready.
I was so resentful towards Toy Story when it first came out. It was pretty.
You're gonna
good, though.
fucking hate it by the time I'm done.
Wait. Why were you resentful towards Toy Story?
Because it was purely selfish. I had aspirations to be a 2D animator at that point. And Toy
Oh,
Story,
it's
I knew.
Ludditism.
Generated.
Yeah, I knew it was the end of me being able to direct the next Lion King or whatever because it was going to be CG, and I'd done some work with polygon models, and I'm like, it's okay, but it's not as fun as drawing it yourself. Now I'm totally good with Pixar. Good stuff. I like them. Anywho.
Well, they
I
got to
guess
do
he's-
Disney's Brave, starring James Spader, so that was magnificent.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of questions that came in.
And of course there are.
Good old Possible Cabbage asks.
But let me just apologise. I'm sounding really contemptuous of this. I obviously appreciate the passion of our community and fan
Me too.
base. And that's why, like SimCity, I stripped most of the good features away from Podtoid this week to make sure you could listen to it.
I did want to ask you guys something before we go to questions, and I don't want to talk about Anita Sarkeesian. Is that how you say it? Don't want to talk about too much, but I do want your opinion. Do you like the just robo talk style of talk? When I was hosting the Podtoid show, the people producing the Podtoid show would often say, you sounded bored. Say that one again, except more excited. And I was like yelling and screaming half the time because I was encouraged to and because I was excited. And then other people in the comments would say, this sucks. This guy needs to just look into the camera and say the words, which made me feel bad about myself. Made me think, should I just be a look in camera and say the words like newscaster guy? And Anita Sarkeesian's prior stuff had more emotion to it, and this latest video, the women and tropes and women in video games, it really did seem like I am talking. These are the words. I will not inflect too much for fear of what you will think of my emotions, which made me feel like I'm a human being. I prefer it.
I'm not saying this is the case necessarily, but I would be totally understanding if there was perhaps some apprehension about putting too much personality or self into it as opposed to just distributing the information, considering all of the controversy and attention surrounding it. I don't know if that actually entered into her thought process as to why this one's a little less animated or emotional than the other feminist frequency tropes versus women stuff that she's done. But
is that better though? Is it for your personal preferences, you two? Do you want someone to put their personality into it and show that their opinion is part of what you're getting? Or do you want it to just be like, the words are going into your head instead of reading them, you are hearing them? That is all.
I think it depends on the person. I think if you have a personality that is compatible with me,
sure.
Then sure, I'd love to see your personality. But if you don't have that personality, I'd really just as well you gave me the information straight. And you know, I don't really have an opinion one way or another on Anita.
No, that's a perfect answer. One that I should have realized. But once you're doing a video for a huge audience, you might want to take your personality out of it because not everyone's going to be compatible. It's nothing personal, but they'll have a worse time with your video because they just don't like your blinking, for instance. So quit the blinking.
I'm sure she's not conscious of it.
Oh no, I don't think anyone intentionally
I wish I hadn't been. I wish I hadn't been conscious of it, because once I noticed it, I just couldn't stop looking at her eyes.
And that's bad.
So I'm just she's lovely eyes, but next time I watch it, I'm just gonna have to not watch it. I'm gonna have to put it in another browser, which is maybe the way all of this stuff gets digested by people anyway. We do office chat, and the video quality is crap. And then I think about it, and I was like, well, every time I listen to a video, I just listen to it, and then I go do something else productive with another tab.
It's streaming audio, pretty much.
Yeah,
that makes sense. I really like that part in the video when she showed that old Ocarina of Time commercial. Do you remember? Do you remember that part? Do you wanna save the girl or play like one? Man. It's douchey. Anyway, the questions. I'm sorry. I'm rambly today. Let's see. Have you ever done an expert challenge run on a video game? If so, what game and what challenge? That's from Love Effin' Deluxe. I don't know. I'll answer while you guys think. I had a weird fixation on Mega Man X2 when it'd probably been out for about a year. I don't think Mega Man X3 was out yet. And I was obsessed with the idea that there might be a hidden ending. So I decided that the way that ending would get unlocked is to beat the game without getting any heart containers or power-ups other than the weapons you get from the bosses. And I did manage to beat the game with that. The last boss could kill you in 2 hits if you don't get any of the power-ups, any of the armor or anything. And I managed to just completely memorize every aspect of it, and like a science, I could practically do it, eyes closed. And then I beat it, and then nothing different happened. That felt good, though. I was like, oh, I did that? Zero rides by on a motorcycle. I was like, yeah! And then I beat it again with all the armor and stuff. He also rides by on the motorcycle. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you guys? Do expert challenges?
I don't know about expert challenges. I mean, I had a roommate once that, you know, did think he was very good at video games, and I've never really thought I was very good at video games, but there are a few games that I'm okay at. And so we would occasionally have challenges in the apartment between ourselves. One day he decided we really needed to play Mega Man 2 and race. You know, so we were in separate rooms in the apartment, started at the same time, charged through as quickly as possible. I got up, made a sandwich, came back, sat down, kept playing. He was on the Dragon in Wily 1 when I finished.
Oh, wow. That's quite a head.
He was, yeah, he died a few times, and I didn't, and that was the difference. That's all it really takes is, you know, if you have to replay a section of that game, that's really, the game's completable in like 30 minutes, you know, even if you're not pushing yourself. So
sure. Just walking, if you just walk straight, you'll get there. Reminds me, before there was Podtoid in my life, there was a similar group of friends who had their quirks and their powers, and they loved Final Fight 3 and Super Punch-Out. And they thought of me as like this bastard, this evil bastard who is way too good at Super Punch-Out. So they'd steal the cartridge from me and try to beat all my times, because there's a score attack and time attack mode in that. And they would intentionally name, they'd try to get the entire ranking filled with the name Asshead, and then call me up late at night and be like, hey, remember Asshead? Your friend? You thinking about Asshead right now? I'm like, nope, I'm not. Not thinking about Asshead.
This explains so much about this relationship.
I've been in the Podtoid dynamic for whatever it's worth for a long. Not to say you guys aren't special and important, but it's
no, we understand.
Oh, I love it. This assuages much guilt.
Yes, actually.
Now
I bring it out in people.
Now I feel like I'm just an extension of a problem rather than the problem. and it gets to a point where one has to look at the constant and see if it's not their fault. So I'm now completely blameless, and I'm going to be about 10 times worse.
I've never blamed you. I've always been aware that this is just how it's going to be. And it's not like I do it on purpose, but I bring out ideas in people for, I don't know, friendship, I guess.
In many ways, I feel like I'm part of a legacy. And that when I die, which will probably be in about 5 years, someone will take my place and live on.
It could be.
In a kind of being John Malkovich kind of way. In a kind of just constant rebirth and living again. And that maybe I carry with me the souls of all the people you have known and lost, Jonathan.
Yeah, you're
and
like the...
When I die, I will live on inside another man who will continue to torment you. And you, Jonathan, will never die.
I wish. I'd like to live forever. It's no secret.
No, you will never die.
I hope so.
You will end your days put in a box with scarabs by the Pharaoh. And then, a couple of 100 years later, Americans, led by Brendan Fraser, will dig you out of a tomb. And you'll pull someone's eyes and tongue out, and he'll go, I got my tongue. And then there'll be a funny man in a fez who'll follow you around saying, hey, he needs the rest of your head.
Who's the guy in that in the Mummy movie? He's just sitting there as bugs are just crawling all over him, and there's a slow close-up on his face, and he's like, this isn't good! Or something like that.
We've talked about him.
What I'm talking about?
We've talked about him.
That guy.
We've actually mentioned him before on Podtoid.
Yeah, I've thought about him a lot.
He says, what have we done?
Yeah, that's right. The pre-Podtoid guys who had the similar role in my life also loved that scene in that movie.
It's a great movie. I need to rewatch that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, maybe
it's been a while.
I'll get back to the questions though. Did we ever ask? Did I even ask the question about if we had to eat one Muppet? Which Muppet would we eat?
What?
That's from Possible Cabbage. Help Cabbage, on Twitter. If I had to eat a Muppet, it would be Gonzo. Because who knows? Something
That
might
is
happen.
some mystery meat right there.
Yeah. He is an alien, as revealed in Muppets from Space. But that's all the more interesting, I think.
Oh,
guys
I'm
Muppets?
kind of bothered by. I didn't see Muppets in Space. I didn't realize he's an alien. That ruins it.
Muppets from Space is pretty good.
Yeah.
I'd say in a different way than the recent Muppet movie. It's good.
I just liked the idea that there was this weirdo thing out there. That
It might not be canon.
Oh, I hope not.
Yeah, they never bring it up again, so it might just be, they needed the money, so they made a Muppet movie about him.
But there are a whole other bunch of Gonzo-like characters that look like him.
Yeah, there are, and they have a big dance number at the end, singing and dancing.
I'm partial to Grover, just because I like Grover, and I want him to feel useful. I think Grover would appreciate being eaten. Like he would be just grateful that he could help out in some way, and then that you want to feel good about what you're eating. Basically, is what I'm saying. So yeah, I think I'd probably go that way.
I find it interesting neither of you said Miss Piggy, who is bacon.
I don't
I'm really a big bacon fan.
Could actually be cooked and eaten like food. But
Well,
you went
Kermit
with
the Frog
Gonzo
also.
and Grover.
Yeah, I guess you can eat a bear too, or frog legs. People eat
Yeah.
those all the time.
They're perfectly serviceable, edible animal ones.
Mm.
Oh, Big Bird!
There's a sketch actually by the state about eating Muppets.
Mm.
And his family living in a suburban neighborhood, they're having a dinner party, and the couple that's visiting says, what is this blue stuff? I think it's meat. And oh yeah, that's Muppet. Husband accidentally ran over one with the car, and he said, why waste it? Let's cook it up. And he's become quite the little hunter since. It's quite funny. You should watch The State. Some of the best sketch comedy ever.
Show. Absolutely. Interesting. Kind of a post-Saturday Night Live next level of surrealism mixed with absurdity. Yeah, good times. Jim, did you pick a Muppet to eat?
I'm going with Piggy.
Yeah, makes
And
sense.
I tell you what, I would.
Would you?
Probably while I'm eating her.
Wow. Yeah, she's got a place in everyone's heart, I think. Speaking of what we were just talking about, Bobby Carswell, who is Crust NC, Crust with a K, on Twitter, asks, do you guys any socially awkward moments? I think he's asking if we have any socially awkward moments. I would like to hear stories, period, please, at the end.
Every time I go to the store and purchase something.
Yeah, what happens
There's
to you?
a conversation. I don't know why I feel the need to be gregarious with people who, like, if it's somebody that I will ever have a conversation with again, I am reserved and quiet up until the point where I get to know them well enough that I feel comfortable contributing to a conversation. But if it's somebody who's working at a counter or whatever, I whatever, screw it. I make jokes. I feel the need to have a conversation. I'm that asshole who, the bored person behind the counter. And I've been the bored person behind the counter and can't stand this asshole who tries to make conversation with me that leads nowhere. And then meanwhile, I'm a terrible person.
No, you like the people. You want to connect with them. You want to give them a little energy. Come on, you like them a little. Don't you?
What's to like? They're putting things in a bag for me and drawing a paycheck for it.
We're all in this big old computer simulation together. We might as well try to
like them.
Get to know each other. Yeah, you just want to get them know a little bit.
I don't want anybody's day to be, miserable.
Yeah.
But I think I'm trying hard.
Oh, I don't know. Are you? If you were trying really hard, then you would feel great and everyone would like you all the time. That's what happens to the people who try really hard. Like
Oh
Will
yes, clearly.
For me, I'll tell a quick socially awkward story. Can't even talk. We were nice kids, but we wanted to be prank kids, doing cool pranks. So we would go to this Dunkin' Donuts that was open 24 hours, really tired, late at night, and drive through the drive-thru and be like, yeah, ask them if they got any Milky Dogs. yeah, Milky Dogs. They won't know what that is. And then we can pull up and say, got any Milky Dogs? And they'd be like, we don't know what that is. We'd be like, you got any milk or dogs? Or milk and dogs? And they'd be like, no, we don't know what that is. And we'd be like, all right, can we get some donuts? Like, okay. Then we get the donuts. Be like, yeah, we did it. We asked for Milky Dogs. They didn't have them. Because they're not real. Yeah, guys. Pranks. We're good at this. Really, really stupid. And awkward because we felt guilty. Like we thought we were playing it off to each other like we were tough, but we felt guilty asking. Then we'd do like, you want to do another Milky Dogs run? Yeah, we'll just do one more for the road. And then we'd go and be like, do you have any Milky Dogs? And they'd be like, no. And be like, sorry, we have some donuts. Oh, why are we doing this? And then just hate ourselves and eat donuts at 2 a.m. in the car.
And Lou Reed only had heroin to deal with. If only he'd have known about Milky Dogs, he'd never have complained.
We felt really guilty afterwards. Like we hated each other and ourselves, but we didn't want to admit it. So that was socially awkward. Yeah.
Now I want donuts.
I know, I'm so hungry.
I'm hungry too. I only eat breakfast today. I didn't have a lunch.
That's terrible. Should we do another question, or should we just go eat?
I don't know. Although I'll briefly answer the socially awkward question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, please do.
I mean, aside from all day, every day, because I'm neurotic and British, I do recall, I'll do a video game related one. I've got several, but I'll do one video game related one that sprung to mind, involving Jules Watcham.
Good old Jules.
Yeah, the creative director over at Renegade Kid. Mm-hmm. Renegade Kid, of course, do Mutant Muds and Moon and whatnot. But they also do a game called Dementium. And more to the point, Dementium 2, which I reviewed, and I think I gave it a 7 out of 10. And it was I bumped into him one E3, just not at a booth, there wasn't an appointment, it was just, I was very tired and just hanging out in one of the corridors, one of the hallways, and he walked past, said hello, and was incredibly polite in telling me just how much he disagreed with the 7 out of 10. And I tend to forget everything I've written several days after I've written it. Because I'll write a review and then I've got like 10 dozen other things to do. So I'm very much of the M. Bison it was Tuesday kind of thing, where if I've given your game a bad review, and I don't mean it in a mean way, but I've forgotten already. It's gone from my mind. I'm not holding any grudges against your next games. I'm not angry at you for that. Like I was telling Sega, like, I'm not gonna just shit on all of your games now. The AVP thing, the Colonial Marines thing I'm pissed about, but I'm just pissed about that. But by the same token, it also means that when someone comes up to me, needling me on details about stuff I've written, I find it difficult to defend myself unless I go back and reread it and remind myself what it is exactly I said. And I guess depending on the game. I can still remember.
On a 7. Jeez.
Yeah,
you average 7. You're like, oh, I liked it a little. Yes, I did.
If it's something I had to really sort of agonize over, or if it's something that was obviously big enough and memorable enough to me, like, I can still remember a lot of what I said about Assassin's Creed 2, because obviously that was a big deal. I remember a lot of what I said about Final Fantasy 13. Conversely, I also remember a lot of what I said about Deadly Premonition, about Killzone 3, or any other game I've given a 10 to. So obviously the extremes stick out, obviously the big games stick out, but Dementium 2, I mean, that was a job lot for me. It was a horror game, I'm into horror, I have a DS, I did the job. But obviously it mattered a lot to Jules, as it would. I mean, especially as a small team, they take those things a lot more personally than, you know, Activision with the latest game I've crapped on of theirs. You know, the worst I'll get is this kind of, I think you're insane, but whatever. We've got a dozen other games coming out, and I've moved on. I'm paraphrasing. I don't want to say anyone's actually said that, but the general attitude is obviously they don't have that personal connection. But Jules does, and he remembered every single word.
Oh.
But was so nice about it. Like, Jules is a lovely guy. He's a really nice chap. But I conversely felt guilty and confused while he was giving me a very well-presented argument as to why everything I said was bullshit. Which obviously I disagreed with, but couldn't really contend because
you didn't know what your own opinion was.
Yeah.
He was telling you, well, your opinion was this, and you were like, it was?
Plus, I think the review I wrote was like weeks, maybe months old at that point. I can't remember. Sure. It was a good while, and I'd written many more since then. And there's only so much capacity in one's mind, and one's immediate memory. So it was weird. I left that discussion feeling like he just fingered me. But not in a rough way. Not in a violent way. Like, he just kind of slipped a cheeky finger up there and was just twiddling it around a bit while looking me in the eye. And then just popped out and we left as friends.
Sounds like a fair exchange. I mean, you reviewed his game in a way that he was sad about, but he got to twiddle, and so long. Yeah, he seems to like you just fine.
Fair trade. I certainly, don't hold it against the guy. He's a lovely man, and it was an interesting discussion, and it's good to you know, meet the guys face to face after you've not trashed, but certainly given them a score or whatever they disagreed with.
Yeah. I remember going to a Capcom party at CES one year and meeting the producer on Dark Void. This was like a week or two before that game came out. And he was asking, so, did you guys get your review copy? Who's on that? And you had just published the Assassin's Creed 2 review. That was an awkward social situation.
What was his name again? The Dark Void guy?
I cannot remember right now. He was a cool dude too.
Yeah, I liked him a lot.
He and I spent like a good hour talking about pen and paper role playing games later that evening, and yeah, he was a really cool dude.
I'm sure he was. Game was terrible.
Yep.
But you know, nice people make bad things. I've made plenty of bad things.
Sure.
And
we're making one right now.
Yes. Every Podtoid's a Dark Void in more ways than one.
Hey-oh.
Oh, arseholes is what I was talking about there. But yes, I remember the Assassin's Creed 2, I think, was a shock to the system for people. I think, because I'd done other negative reviews before then, but that was the one, I guess, that really kind of everyone saw. And meetings and events after that for a while were very tense and weird. It got to the point where every time I went to an event or some preview or whatever, that's what people would talk to me about, to either tell me they agreed or didn't agree, or that I was insane. And that was interesting. And then I met a guy from Ubisoft who didn't know me until someone said, "That's Jim Sterling," and the guy was like, "I'm not a short man. This guy dwarfed me."
Really?
Huge, bald guy. Thick built. And we shook hands, and then Dyson, I think it was. Fucking Dyson, as he was known on Destructoid.
Son of a bitch.
Said, "This is Jim Sterling!" Big grin on his face, and the guy still holding my hand just gave me this look. But it was alright. He was just trying to fuck with me. Which is, you know, There you go. But I'll have maybe have another awkward story for you when I'm in Dallas in June for the Screw Attack Gaming Convention.
Oh, cool.
Where people from Gearbox will be.
Oh, that could be all right. Time will have passed.
That'd be all right. Could be.
Regulars will be have cooled, I hope.
Looking forward to that. That should be interesting. I hear Adam Sessler wants to do a panel with me, which is a great weight off my mind. Because
Wow.
I'll just glow on to whatever he's doing and not come up with anything myself. Thank fuck. But that should be good. That'll be my next sort of event, because I probably not mentioned on here, but I've mentioned on Twitter and Facebook I'm not doing E3 this year. For some personal reasons and some practical reasons. I'm not doing real events and stuff anymore. I will be doing Screw Attack, the Escapist Expo, and I'm hoping PAX Prime, where hopefully we'll do Podtoid Live.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That would be
I
fun.
will do that for sure. We have 3 quick questions I want to try to do. I think they're almost yes or no questions. Mohammed Al-Zarini, who's Moda00Z on Twitter, asks, what do you guys think of KFC? Oh, man, those biscuits are so good, as is the chicken, but I can't eat it right now, but I really want to. I think it tastes great, and it's terrible for you, and it makes you sick. It's pretty good, though. What do you guys think?
I like the double down.
Oh, the double down.
in spite of myself. It's the sort of thing that you hear someone describe what it is, and you know that that's disgusting, and then you hold it in your hand, and it's just this greasy mop. And I get the grilled kind, because I don't care for their breading. And so, it's just this ball of oil and fat and salt.
Yeah.
And then you eat it, and you feel just logy, and it's swimming around in your body, but you can't stop. It's like the McRib in that way. I'm so fucking proud of myself. This year, I have not caved to the McRib.
I've never considered caving to it, but I know others that swear by it, that wait for its return. Usually once
Every year, it would come out, and I would just, oh God, that's disgusting. I have to have one right now. And I'd go and I'd eat it, and I'd be filled with barbecue sauce and self-loathing.
How about you, Jim? KFC? Eat it?
I'm not a proud man, Jonathan. Especially when it comes to the food. Well, I say that I'm very good at, like many fat men, I'm very good at compartmentalizing and coming up with excuses why it's okay and why you can eat that and why that won't make you fatter, so you might as well. KFC has no excuse. Not even for Fatty Bum Bum. It's one of those things where you'll eat it. You will. And immediately, like, it's not an hour later, it's not like 2 a.m. when you're shitting in a bucket and crying. It's immediate. It's the moment your body has told you it cannot handle anymore. Sudden wave of feeling like you just, like, kicked a child. Like, really hard in the front of the leg so that their leg bent a bit and locked on the knee.
Oh, ouch.
Like that, like I did that to an infant.
I like Church's chicken, though. I'm a fan of that. I like theirs. I like theirs. Something like they don't have Church's here in Oregon. That was something I used to be able to get in Arizona. But they have something that I couldn't get since I moved to Arizona from Pennsylvania. They got Popeye's chicken and biscuits here. So screw KFC.
No, we mostly have KFC here. Gotta figure out what to eat. Maybe a burrito. All right, more questions. Just almost done. Justin Kriebel, who's Azarilski, I can't pronounce that, on Twitter, says, my wife is a pastry chef and would like to know if Jim would enjoy cookies themed after the friendship you and he share. I think he means me.
I think
so. This wife wants to make Jim Sterling and Jonathan Holmes themed cookies.
Yeah,
Should we? Is that a yes?
Why am I not eating the cookies right now?
Yes, Justin Kriebel. Tell your wife that we.
Tell your wife's a pastry chef.
That she is allowed to make cookies based on our friendship.
Dear.
Yes, you can.
Did you see the latest image done by the lovely Nevermonkey Media?
Yes.
Of Krang?
Patrick at Nevermonkey. Yes.
Oh, beautiful.
Fucking wonderful. I'll have to... It'll probably be on the Podtoid wiki soon enough.
Hope so.
Do check that out. And
there's a section there that they wanted me last episode to mention that they're populating. If you have fan art from Podtoid, get in touch with the Podtoid wiki guys, or just go over there and upload it to the Heathcliff Museum. It's a page in there. It's of course located in Boston. And but yeah, go flood that with all the fan art, because I know there's a ton of it out there from past and so forth, and it'd be really cool to have all of it sort of collected in one spot.
I should do that too. I have some lying around.
And do go there, and feel free to edit it as well, because it gives me a certain perverse joy to reread someone else's summary of things that we've talked about. And I know a lot. It was sort of set up predominantly during the Christmas holidays. So the people that originated it, I guess, are back at work, back at school, back at wherever. So the updates have gone down, which made me sad because I really like reading them.
Progress is moving on some of it, though. They're filling in a lot of back episode stuff and things like that. There's been a few people that have popped up in the last few days and are really helping out, and it's awesome. So yeah, keep it up, guys. It's super cool.
It is cool, and none of us do it. Neither myself or Conrad or Jonathan. We don't update it. It's all the listeners, and they do an amazing, slightly terrifying, but altogether excellent job.
I'll admit that I occasionally go in and fix typos.
Well,
that's when I'm reading it and I see it, I'm like, okay, I gotta fix that.
I think I may have made one slight correction somewhere, but that was about it.
Well, I'm gonna do these last two. Well, it's three questions now.
Do it
coming in. Josh Prepunik, Johnny 2900 wanted to know what we think of games ushering in always online single player. We answered that already, but I just wanted to say your name, Josh Prepunik. Ian Duncan Crockett says, "Have you guys played The Cat Lady? Violence, and adult themes." He told me about this earlier in the week. I still haven't played it.
I've had it recommended to me, but I was obviously not online in a workable sense. So that's going to be something I do. I'm looking at The Cat Lady and another game called Darkwood, which I learned about today, which looks awesome. I just love all the different horror and dark themed games coming to PC. It's wonderful to see.
So ID Crockett, thank you. Thank you for recommending it. We will play it. And then Dougie Butabi, who's Doug Butabi JTV, wants to know, who is Jim Sterling's second place man crush behind his endless love, Jonathan Holmes? And it's not really crush. It's a weird sort of, I don't know what it is. But is there who you like, that Japanese man, right? With the blonde hair? He's a hunk. Like Gax or something he's called? Gunks?
Oh, Gacked.
Gacked, yeah. He's a hunk.
Yeah, I'll just say him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious who it really is then. Is it good?
I couldn't possibly comment.
Really? Oh, I'm so curious. Like you were about Marilyn Chambers' friend who made the Fallen I Can't Get Up commercials. Those are so fun to impersonate. Well, I guess we should wrap up the show. What a fine show it was.
Let's do it. Let's wrap it up
We did.
Like that child you did that thing to.
I never touched it. Never did anything with kids.
Never touched it.
Kids. Never touched them. I'm picturing a real case hearing where the witness takes a stand, and Jim Sterling, the lawyer, says, "Just like you did, just like you wrapped up those kids." He goes, I never touched them. You just can't smile and laugh when you deny being a child killer. It doesn't work. Anyway, sorry I'm belaboring a lot. I'm really out of it. It's been an exhausting month or so, but we're wrapping up Season 1 of Teenage Pokemon this Sunday. very exciting. I have a little bit of editing to do tonight. I'm sending it off to Machinima. It's an episode about PAX. If you found the last couple of episodes to be unsettling or disturbing, you should try this one because it's lighter. People were really genuinely disturbed by your episode last week, Jim, which is fun.
I did
Yes.
like it.
I quite
What?
enjoyed that.
'Cause I think some people were blaming me for it being weird
not
and,
your fault.
and dark
No.
and creepy. But I really was just a voice actor on it.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I sadly, I felt a little bad because you're such a great writer. You could probably have written something better, but I wrote those lines. I even performed them and sent you a version of it with me doing that line for line with a stupid Birdie from Street Fighter voice, and then you lightened it up, made it seem a little more sincere, a little bit more subtle, and wonderful work you did. A lot of people say it's
thank
the
you.
best episode, largely because of your performance. So, but other people were like, I listen to Podtoid every week, but that show made me feel sick and sad inside. Like they couldn't, they were really upset about it.
And that was
But this-
you. That was you unleashed.
That was my interpretation of you a little bit. So it's still your fault.
My favorite part of the episode is right at the end when War Turtle moves closer to Ditto and just ever so slightly penetrates him.
Yeah, that happened actually the very last day. Animator Dynamoth, and his name is Michael McCartney. He's a Podtoid listener, and he was trying to fit all of that in there. He's a lot of work to do to put that show together. And at the very last second, he's like, "How about this?" And then I was like, "Priceless, great job."
It was brilliant work.
He did wonderful work, and he continues to. So anyway, yeah, this Sunday, last episode of this season of Teenage Pokemon. It's about going to PAX. It is my favorite episode thus far in terms of what I had to contribute to it. And also, we have so many other contributors. It's an all-star episode in a lot of ways. Paul Veer, who does the graphics for Vlambeer's games, did a segment of it. Bo Blythe, who did Samurai Gun and LA Death Disc, we've had him on Sup Holmes. He animated a lot of it. Thomas Truong did a poster in it. Astrobat, Sarah Thomas did a lot of posters and art in it. It's packed with visual art. So even if you don't like the talking, watch it, turn the sound off, and look at some of the stuff these people did because it's really good. So that's this Sunday on Machinima. Also, check out Jim's episode. It should be the most watched one. Gosh darn it. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it. And the more people will watch it, the more likely we'll be able to do more Jim with Pokemon cartoons in the future. That's on Machinima right now. And also this Sunday we have Erin Robinson on Sup Holmes. She is the developer of Gravity Ghost and many other games. She was also involved with the Global Game Jam. She's pushing ahead for more people to be making games. She'll be great. That's at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also, I just remembered the rerun of Vander Caballero's episode is on iTunes and iTunes and YouTube. That's the creator of Papo and Yo. Did I say that right, Conrad?
You got it, yeah.
Yeah, man, there was some trouble there.
Well, they
What an
changed the
interesting guy.
name midway through, and it's not, how many games do we get with the titles in Spanish published in the United States?
Yeah, and half of it's in Spanish. Half of it's not. What a riveting story that was. This is a man who is very open about suffering from terrible abuse growing up. He made a video game about that abuse in order to help other people to cope with it and also to share himself with the world and also to just make a fun, interesting video game to play for entertainment purposes. He made Army of Two and then got kind of disgusted with the violence in his game because it reminded him of real-life wartime violence that he's witnessed. He made Boogie. He invented the Boogie series and then was like, okay, and then just stopped that. Moved on. Really feel strongly that people should not go to school for game design. Says you should go to school for industrial design. That's what he did, and that's what Miyamoto did, and He feels like a lot of game developers are headed down the wrong path with the wrong kind of education. On and on and on. Very, very interesting guy. On iTunes, go to the Subhomes page, and it should be the top download there. You can listen to it also on Podtoid TV on YouTube. Okay, I think I did everything. Thanks, guys. Sorry it took so long.
That's all right. There's a lot of big stuff going on.
Yeah, it's
That's
been bigger than ever. All my things are bigger than they used to be, which is fun.
Excellent.
Mm.
Is everything bigger?
I bet my penis is not, because I'm old and gross now.
Oh.
Small penis.
Oh.
No, but I bet the distance between your testicles and your penis has increased.
You're probably right. So my testicle length is probably improved.
Because that's what everyone cares about.
Yeah.
Woo! Everybody loves
look-
good, low-swinging pair of balls. That's, you just really want them like a speed bag.
I try not to look at that stuff down there. I see it, once
So
a
does
day.
everyone else.
Yeah, good to know.
Nobody likes looking at testicles.
Oh, good. Wow, I felt so uncommon. I feel like a regular guy, which is a good feeling.
Men, women, nobody likes them. And that somebody tried to, I can't remember what it was. Someone was making some comment about, people objectifying women and sagging breasts, and then made a testicle comparison. And nobody says anything about male ball sagging. Well, nobody likes balls. Nobody likes balls. Period.
I know one woman who has a testicle keychain.
There is an
She kind of-
exception proving every rule.
Yeah, very few people though, and she has them for kind of underdog status. She just feels bad for guys being made to think that their bodies are gross.
I mean, yeah, I don't think we should make
Gross.
anybody feel bad about themselves for any reason. It's just not necessary.
But
But
you
let's
just
be
got
honest, there's no defense for testicles.
Conrad, what are you doing this
Fine.
weekend for this week?
I just want to spend. They're fine.
You were biting your tongue that whole time.
I was just. Do I want to go there? Do I want to have this discussion? Do I want to defend balls? I'll defend balls.
They are
Depending on the
fine.
circumstances, they're acceptable.
Connor,
Sorry,
what are you doing this week?
Yeah, what do you think?
It's okay. Let's do it.
Oh God! So we posted another question this week. We, as we mentioned earlier in the episode, that's over on Podtoid's YouTube channel. We had a new office chat with Spencer Hayes and Jordan DeVore, and we talked about the SimCity stuff a little bit more, and we talked about, excuse me, that weird, like, Dead Space is going on hiatus. No, it isn't, says EA. That story is just strange. And it's still kind of floating around in a weird way. Did you read about this at all, Jim? You've been gone, so I don't know.
Yeah, I was able to do a little bit of commentary on it on Twitter, because that's basically where I was getting all my information and communication this week. But yeah, I heard about it. Was very unsurprised when it was first announced as a rumor. I heard Dead Space closing down. I thought, yeah, well, that's been a long time coming. And I say that as a man who loves the Dead Space series.
Yeah. Well, that was pretty much the conclusion we all seem to come to, is that, it could probably stand to take a break. That wouldn't be so horrible. So you can check that out on Podtoid's YouTube channel. This weekend on Saturday Morning Hangover, one of the community bloggers, Char Asianable, I think that's how you pronounce that, he posted about this Phantom Breaker game that was just released on Xbox 360 this week, and it's just one of those, it just pops up on the platform, and it's gotten no press and anything of that nature, and it looks really cool. So we are going to play it on Saturday Morning Hangover this weekend, so you can tune in for that, and of course we'll check out the new Xbox Live Indie Games demos and go see what's going on in the Defoeverse, which is still a thing.
I gotta
heard
get
they
back
were-
in there.
I heard they were threatening to delete all the Defoe stuff or non-topic things in Miiverse.
Yeah, I've heard that too, but it hasn't seemed to have happened unless it's happened in the last, 5 days, and I haven't seen it yet. Or they just deleted all the back stuff and I never noticed. But people are still posting Defoe stuff in there. It's certainly not at the rate that it was. But what is going in there, as a consequence of it having gone on this long, is starting to get kind of creative and surreal in a totally, they're just, I don't want to say they're reaching, they're just getting creative. It's fun.
Looking forward to getting
Well,
back in
all
there.
of the good Defoe puns we used week 1.
Yeah, exactly. And so we have that. There's some people in there that are, just be nice to the people that don't get it. Just don't be mean to people that don't get it, because
it's not a social classism thing. They all belong.
And some of them, feel that we are trotting on a place that, this content isn't meant for. Which is absurd, because what else would you put in the Rabbids Miiverse community?
Exactly. And it's not just like all Rabbids, it's that one game. Yeah. And it's the best place for it. If it wasn't us, it would just be people talking about Rabbids.
If anything, they should be thanking us for not, having this infect every Miiverse community. We made sure it was contained.
Yeah.
Defoe could have been everywhere.
Exactly. It stays and remains patient 0. And that's where it'll stay. We've got that shit quarantined. We're in lockdown. It's good. It's good.
Did you know we started trying to end the show like 50 minutes ago?
Oh, yeah.
We started ending the show like almost an hour ago.
And we got anything else for us?
Amazing.
No, I think that's it.
All right.
Jim.
Let me blast through. I was off this week, but I had some stuff already pre-cooked. So if you go on Destructoid this week, I had 2 reviews already written up. One for Aliens vs. Predator Evolution, which is worse than Aliens Colonial Marines by a half point. Well done to Gearbox. Well done from the bottom of my heart at having not released the worst Aliens-themed game in 2013. Just the second worst by a hair's dick. So that's good. Check that out. I didn't like it. I was very saddened, but there you go. That's good. I've not forgotten about Aliens Colonial Marines, by the way. Also reviewed Dynasty Warriors 7 Empires. I will admit that my excitement for that game was not... It took a bit of a hit, considering they've already announced Dynasty Warriors 8. And so this came out and just kind of looked ridiculous. But it wasn't helped by the fact that Koei's gotten very lazy lately. And if there's one company that could afford to not be lazier, it's Koei. But they're getting lazier with a series that is already difficult for me as a fan to defend sometimes. And it's gotten to the point where even I, as loyal as I am dishing out 5s out of 10 to Dynasty Warriors games. Because Empires came out, yet again, not localized in the voice acting department. Thrown on the digital network. And just feels really half-baked. So there you go, and that just seems to be the way they're going right now, which really saddens me. I hope Dynasty Warriors 8's going to be back on form, but we'll see. And also this week, if you go to escapistmagazine.com, did a Jimquisition, which according to the comments on Teenage Pokemon is my name.
Isn't that great?
That was awesome. Oh my god, is the guy voicing Ditto Jimquisition? Yes, I am Jimquisition.
And you can click if you just... I put it almost immediately in the show description, guest starring Jim Sterling as Ditto, but no one did. They take the time and said to write, "Is Jimquisition in this?"
Yeah, most
that kind of sounds like Jimquisition.
I don't think anybody reads YouTube descriptions, which is really unfortunate because I do spend time writing them.
Yeah,
and they're so much easier to read than to write a comment asking a question.
I would think, and then you may never get the answer in the comments. The answer was already.
Oh, no one else. Everyone else was asking. Yeah, I think that was not Jimquisition. Maybe it was. It was a Jimquisition impersonator. It was going on and on. Yeah.
But if you if you go on escapistmagazine.com, this week's Jimquisition is called Emotions, Polygons, and Ellen Page, and is a loving tribute of mine to everybody's favourite video game actor, David Cage. And I guess that's all we've got time for. Well, I say all we've got time for as if the Gestapo are here beating down our doors. That's all the time we're willing to give you, I should say. We will be back next week, and until then, bye-bye.
You sounded just like that lady.
What lady?
That bye-bye lady. Who is that again?
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
She said one.